So he will sit next to them and he will break it down, he will differentiate it, he will scaffold it for them to do. My goodness, I'm over there and I'm supporting those ones. So I can't differentiate by support, by my teacher support. I can't differentiate by task. Yes, it is time consuming, your work is called out for you, and that's why I said to do your job properly in a 40-minute lesson, you might need 3 hours because you're going to spend time thinking about the ability. Now, how do I take care of Heather in the lesson? How do I take care of God? I know he's weak. So the same objective, right? But for him, I'm going to spend more time. I'm going to now, it's a big A4 paper that they need to read, right? These guys, they're fine. They can read it. He can't read it. It's too much for him. Sometimes you look at it because he's got a learning need. He might be autistic. He might be dyslexic, dyspraxia. So I'll go to him and I would have read it. So I summarize it and maybe have a page for it, right? And it could be that for him, it's all about his handwriting. Now, I might give him a laptop, or I might get a scribe, so the TA can write for him. So all he needs to do is dictate the answer, and the scribe will do the writing. Or I give him a tablet, or I write, and then he just put in the missing gaps. Okay? It might be an equation. This is not only the formula, he will need the formula. I don't give him the formula, I give him the formula. But it's the same objective. They're all going to arrive at the same destination. What I've done Friday's session, let me digress. I set it up for some of the ladies in there, they brought their children, little children, a couple of boys. And the session we were looking at was in this one here that I've given to this morning. We're looking at differentiation. And I said something to them. If the objective is to look at this window, right? Everybody in here, you're tall enough, you can all see through that window, correct? Sunday?
Yes, I'm with you. I can.
You can all look through that window, right? Now, you've got those 2 little boys, they're in the class as well. But you know what? When they stand, they're going to come up to here in terms of their height. They're not going to see through the window. Now, as the teacher, I know already the barriers to the learning. Because as a teacher, 5 things you need to know about that child. You must know the child, the background about that child. You must know the barriers, identify the barriers in front of that child. Now, some barriers are physical, some are not so physical. Some might have physical disability, right? Someone who's a bit visually impaired, I might sit closer to the port. Someone's got hearing impairment, they can't hear very loud from the back. If I don't provide a hearing aid that they put in their ear, I might sit them close to the port. Now, some are not so visible. Now, for those 2 boys who come up to here, now if they stand here, they're not going to be able to see outside. And remember, the learning objective is to be able to see and describe what's outside, right? So as a teacher, I know the barrier, they're not tall enough. They're not going to be able to see. But the objective is for everybody to see outside. You're all tall enough, so what do? I know their problem, I know the barrier. Strategy is I put a chair here. When they stand on that chair, will they see outside? Everybody can see, right? So how have I differentiated? I put a chair. So that's my differentiation strategy. Some kids learn differently. The visual learner likes to see from the picture. For that learner, I might put lots of images. Some are quite hands-on, kinesthetic. I might in that task, I put in some things, some hands-on activity. Some are auditory learning. I need to know them first. I know their barrier. And I bring out strategies to meet those barriers. Now, if I put those chairs there for those boys to climb on, everybody, by the end of the lesson, will be able to see outside the different learners, but I've met the needs of everybody by identifying the issues and providing solutions to them. And Sunday, that's how I would go about it. Is it time consuming? You bet the money it is. But does it work? Incredibly what it does. Because every child can actually learn. And that's when we come next year, that's what we're looking at. Okay? I don't like it when you go, oh, he's done, he can learn. I beg to differ. Every child can learn. There's a barrier in front of some children. There's a girl I used to teach when I was in Leatherhead. Now, if you give this girl a book to read, right? Something like this. Princeton. She go, she can't read. She cannot read black font on a white background. So for that girl, we print Howard specially on a yellow background. Or we give her a yellow overlay. A yellow overlay is like a thin film. And once we do that yellow overlay, she flies. She reads like everyone else. Now, in Nigeria, we don't have the resources. We probably don't identify that that child cannot read on a white background. And then you are castigating, chiding, physical chastisement. You're done. You're done. But it's not their fault. It's on you because you haven't taken your time to find out what is wrong, what is a barrier in front of that child. That's your responsibility, not the parents, not the child. It's on you. Because you're being paid to make everybody learn. Whether they're capable, they're not capable, they're disabled, they're not disabled, it's your job. It's on you. And that's a message, as simple as that. End off. Next question.
My question is similar to what he just asked, but basically the same thing. Now, we're in a society where there are lots of pressure as a school. Like, looking at this, I was discussing with my son, will this work for EYFS? Will this work for secondary? Yeah? This you've shown to us is what we do for primary. Most of our primary classes, we actually do that. When it comes to EYFS, when it comes to secondary, it's a bit different. Why? Because for the secondary, we're after the child's performance to give us test results. Because it's about results.
It is. It is result.
It's about results.
It is.
Now, I remember when I trained in the UK, now for a 3-year-old child, the child is just allowed to come to school, play, explore your environment, and all of that. Now, nobody's putting that child there under pressure to learn their numbers, recognize their sounds. Yeah. But here is a thing of pride for us as parents and as a school that a 3-year-old child is able to identify letters and blend those letters, yeah, diagrams and all of that. Now, that makes, for us, like Eliud, that has actually brought a lot of children to our EYFS. Yeah. But we know that it's like overstretching them. Yeah. But the society, we find ourselves. So how do we, like he said, they have 40 minutes. Yeah. Some classes do up to 18 subjects, not because we want our children to do it, but this is what government have provided as a curriculum or scheme of work for you to be able to pass your WAEC and your JAM. And then you have children that will write the JAM and the WAEC under the name Eliud, and you want that name or the good result. How do we manage? Back to his question, because if we follow the ability, if we follow, like you said, the lower ability should be, the teacher should sit beside the lower ability and ensure that the child is able to read and all of that. Now, that's whether you like it or not, there will be that gray area where you still find those average children still missing out. Yeah. That the average children are missing out. How are we going to be able to get this done in secondary and still achieve the results that we want as a school?
Perfect. Plenty of questions in there, but I'll try and tackle them. First and foremost, right? I think the education system is flawed, and that's a personal opinion, by the way. I think it needs to be revamped, it needs to be looked at. They need to go somewhere, sit down, have a proper a retreat, where they sit down and look at everything from the very beginning to the very top. You talk about Eliud's foundation and the rest of it. Right, that's fine if it's working for you. Perfect. Now, when it comes to secondary, especially when it comes to their exam, you probably won't have all the funding in the world, but you might have to do a couple of things to help you in the interim until something gets done about the whole thing. What you might want to be thinking about is you might want to run extra intervention classes.
You already do that.
You do that already. Yes. So if that's not working, now your intervention classes maybe might have to be more prescriptive. And that goes back to what he said. Now the way you do that is you create a personalized learning checklist for each individual. right? We can talk about that much later. But what it looks like, every child has to have a PLC, a personalized